Microsoft's Kudo Sonoda was giving an interview to GamesRadar, and he didn't hold any punches when it comes to Xbox's content versus PS4 in the realm of AAA exclusives. Here's what he said. You can see that what we're focused on is just delivering high value for our gaming fans, and I think a big part of that is just listening to fan feedback, which we'll always continue to do. The amount of big blockbuster exclusive titles that you can get this holiday on Xbox is just stunning. I mean, it's really amazing. I think if you look at our competition, there's no way that people can really stack up with our exclusive content, and that's an amazing part of what we're doing at Xbox. And then stuff that I'm super excited about is the variety of content. Backward compatibility obviously is a huge value for people, and we've got our blockbusters, which then you've also got titles that really have a different look and feel to them, like Gigantic, a very different looking game but super fun, Recore, our awesome ID at Xbox games such as Cuphead. I think our exclusive content, the variety of gameplay that we're able to provide people on Xbox, and then, of course, the high value that comes with enabling things like backwards compatibility and listening to our fans, I just think that's where Xbox really shines, end quote. So, look, I think it's hard to argue that Microsoft has a big lineup this holiday after, let's be honest, a dry spell for most of the year when it comes to AAA exclusives. They did just recently launch Rare Replay, launched Gears. They've got Forza on the horizon, Halo 5, Tomb Raider, which is going to be on the Xbox One for a year before it hits PS4, Fable, you got backwards compatibility coming, and then looking ahead to next year, the schedule is looking a lot more balanced with the AAAs coming near the beginning and also middle of the year. And if you understand how the markets work, you can kind of understand why Microsoft did pack the end of the year full of content. I'm not saying it's right, but if you look at the sales numbers, November and December, more consoles are sold than the rest of the year combined. So you may see news articles where they talk about shipping, or selling 200,000 in August or something, but in November, they could move well over 1 million consoles. And that's exactly what happened last year. And again, I'm not saying that that's right, I'm just explaining the facts. Now, one thing that people do like to do, and I see this all the time, usually somebody sends me a tweet every week with an image that has like PS4 exclusives versus Xbox One exclusives. So whenever I talk about AAA or something else like that, they're like, why is everybody saying that PS4 doesn't have exclusive games? Because they have a lot more exclusives. And sure enough, if you look at an image and you're just counting game titles and you're not really paying attention to the quality of the game or how blockbuster it may be, sure, PS4 has a ton more exclusives than Xbox. But let's be completely honest. Sony themselves have stated that their AAA exclusives are sparse this year. And that's why they are relying so heavily on marketing third-party games as if they were first-party. That's why they've got marketing deals in place with Destiny and Call of Duty and Star Wars and promoting them as if they were something that was only available on the PlayStation. And if you're making sure that you're playing on the system that has the most exclusives, like if that's your go-to figure, then be sure that you have an Android phone, because I've got more exclusives on my phone than I do on Steam, Xbox, or PS4. But me personally, I didn't spend hundreds of dollars to play mobile games on my big screen, just so I can brag that I'm on a system that has a ton of exclusives. When people mention AAA exclusives, they're not talking about indie titles. They're talking about high quality, high production cost games. Most of these games will cost millions to make. The publishers spend millions to market them, and they involve teams that usually are hundreds of people deep. And that's the difference between a B movie and a movie like 007 or Star Wars. That's not to say that you can't have great indies or great smaller title games that are sometimes even better than the AAA exclusives. But if you're just talking about AAA, that's what we're talking about. And of course, it's going to depend on your personal taste as far as what you like, as far as what you consider the system that has the best AAA exclusives. Some people may have no desire to play Halo or Sunset Overdrive. They would rather play Knack or Tearaway. Me personally, this is just my opinion. I've told you this from the very get-go. I've mentioned it plenty of times. The reason that I originally picked the Xbox over the PS4 was because the exclusives that Microsoft were offering were a lot more intriguing to me. And it feels like every year since the launch of the PS4, we've been sitting here at the end of the year reading titles that say next year is going to be the year. After the launch of the PS4, articles popped up that said, you know what, the exclusive titles on the PS4 aren't that great, but just wait till next year. Next year came around. At the end of the year, we were reading titles about how this year would be the year of big AAA exclusives for Sony. And then here we are already at the end of this year, and I'm already seeing titles and articles pop up on the web that say next year is finally going to be the year that PS4 shines with their AAA exclusives. Honestly, I hope they're right. I turned on my PS4 a couple of weeks ago due to the Call of Duty beta, which I did enjoy, and I also played it on PC and Xbox. And I also turned it on for Until Dawn. 7 hours later, after I was done with Until Dawn, I turned off my PS4. And honestly, I cannot foresee another reason to turn it back on until March of next year when Uncharted 4 arrives. What was the last major AAA exclusive that Sony had? Now, this is all going to be debatable. This is just my opinion. Some people are going to argue that Until Dawn is a AAA exclusive. I personally think it's a AA exclusive. I thought it was a rental. A good rental. But a rental. Sony themselves didn't even come out and really market it or push it. I mean, you barely saw it at E3 this year. And it was a game coming out this year. So, I think the last major AAA exclusive that most people would agree upon was Bloodborne. That came out in March of this year. And what's the next major AAA exclusive that Sony has coming out? It's Uncharted 4, which is in March of next year. So for all the talk that Microsoft went a few months without exclusives, which is true, which is a valid point that should be brought up, but in the time that Sony is getting ready to release the next AAA exclusive from their last AAA exclusive, it's been a full year of sparseness awaits. I could have met a girl and procreated with her, created a baby in the time frame that Sony has the next major AAA exclusive coming out. Unless you're interested in all these smaller titles and indies, which honestly I'm not. So again, I'm just speaking for my personal experience. My opinion shouldn't hurt your feelings if you enjoy another console of your choosing. I know plenty of people who feel the complete opposite way that I do and see nothing on Xbox worth getting. They see no reason to buy an Xbox. And that's completely cool because you know what? I'm going to continue and enjoy gaming on whatever system that I'm playing on. Sometimes it's PC, sometimes it's Xbox, sometimes it's PS4. But I would be lying to you if I said that I was happy with Sony and their AAA exclusive lineup so far on the PlayStation 4 since launch. Because the truth be told, I've been pretty disappointed. And that's just one man's opinion.
Are you listening? Damn.